Hey youth group, Troy here with another Wednesday night devotion. Tonight I want to talk to you about what's going on in our world. Every time we turn the TV on or look at our phones and read the notifications and check our social media accounts and things like that, we are constantly seeing, especially in America, where one group seems to be fighting another group. One group complains about their rights, the other group complains about, well, what about our rights? And it just kind of goes back and forth, back and forth. There's a very simple rule that is found in Scripture that Jesus said, but of course what I'm referring to is the Golden Rule. Now, all of us are probably familiar with the Golden Rule in some form or fashion. But I want to read this is Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, and this is Jesus speaking. He says, in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. Now it seems to me, if we could abide by the Golden Rule, there are a lot of this fighting that we're seeing now in our world, or our communities, our nation, would just go away. If we could humble ourselves and think about how we ourselves would want to be treated in whatever situation is being talked about, and we responded in kind, then I think all of this would go away. So why don't we do that? Why is it so difficult? Why does this continue? Why are things still going on? And I would say that the reason that stuff is still going on is because of selfishness. Often we don't want to give to others what we wish others would give to us. Now, if you look up the Golden Rule online, you might be surprised, as I was, to find out that there are critics of the Golden Rule. There's a TED Talk about how not inaccurate or insufficient the Golden Rule is. And the premise of that talk is that if I treat others the way I want to be treated instead of the way they want to be treated, then actually I'm being selfish. That's the criticism. They call it the platinum rule. So one step above golden. But that logic fails to take into account the simplicity of the actual golden rule. Because the premise of it is, if I treat others the way I want to be treated, well, if someone else is going to do something for me, I would want them to do what I would want rather than what they would want. Therefore, the Golden Rule still stands. I will do for you what I think you want. And in the absence of knowing what you want, I will do what I think I would want until I know different. And that really is a simple rule. No wonder Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Pay attention to the second half of that verse. Jesus says, for this sums up the law and the prophets. This really simplifies things. As Christians, we're used to having this list of do's and don'ts, things that we can do, things that we can't do, things that measure us as to how good of a Christian we are, or how good of a Christian we are becoming. The ancient Jews, and the Pharisees, that's what they got caught up in. There were so many rules, so many things that they needed teachers of the law to explain some of the rules, because there were so many. We've talked about this before in class. There were rules regarding what you can drink, or how you drink it, how you pour wine into a a glass, but you put something over it to filter it out. You couldn't cast your shadow. If you were walking, you couldn't cast your shadow over a grave or over a tomb, or you would be considered unclean. So they were taking these laws and these things that Christians don't do so far. They're taking it to the nth degree to where it kind of lost its meaning. It was just following the law in order to be following law. And Jesus, with the golden rule, brings it back to a simple love others, because that's what you want. So if what I want is to be loved, then I should give to others what I want. Jesus also said, as we've spoke about many, many times in class, that the two greatest commandments are to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love others as yourself. I like to put the golden rule next to that and say that the golden rule is kind of these two things, loving God and loving others, in action form, so that it gives me a way to express the love that I'm saying I have for God and others when I do unto others as I would have them do unto me, or as I wish they would do unto me. While we're in quarantine, while we are being bombarded with all of these news stories and all these terrible things that are happening, and I don't want to leave out the very real racism that exists in our country. That too, if we would follow the golden rule and treat others the way we want to be treated, it would end racism in this country. As Christians and as the youth group of First-Centenary United Methodist Church, my challenge for us tonight with this devotion is to take the golden rule seriously. If we really believe in Jesus, then our actions should show that. We should be loving others, we should be loving God, we should be loving others, and we should be treating others the way we would like to be treated, or the way we think others would like to be treated. That's the Jesus way. That's my devotion for tonight. I love you guys. I hope you are watching Sarah's devotions on Sundays. I think Sarah's doing a wonderful job through all of this. I hope you are with us on Wednesdays at 4:30 for our Zoom games. We're having fun each week doing the games that you guys decide to play. And then also on Tuesdays, our small group Bible study is growing. The first time, not so much activity. The next time we had more and more. So we just keep expecting it to grow. And we're really getting something out of it, I think. So please join us for all of these things. If you can't remember everything I just mentioned, look on our website and you can see all the stuff that we do. And also, we're still sending out our newsletters every Thursday afternoon, so you still know what's up and coming. Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.
Oh.